Hello! So this is a different type of video. I was originally going to make a new channel for this type of content, but then I remembered. You'll start off with something that you want to do, then you'll see something that you also want to try, and this will keep happening until you end up with 4 or 5 projects that you need to work on, and by that point there's so much to do that you'll get so bored or even exhausted and not finish any of them. So I'm going to post it here instead. Now I'm quickly going to show you my only other art video. Now my art has improved since then, so I'm going to show you the old art I will be redrawing. I think my least favourite thing about this is the fact that the hair just disappears. Like, hello? Where did it go? And the ears, oh gosh. Those two things are the most awful eyesores I've ever seen. I do have more complaints though, like the folds. They look terrible. The shading on the clothes is just absolutely lazy, and the shading on the hair just looks so terrible. The eyes are also terrible. The whole thing's terrible. I also find it funny that I hid the hands, like I was too lazy to make an attempt. I also think that this may have been a reflected tool, so I only actually drew half of this image and the other half was just magicked. To be fair, this was literally my 3rd drawing of anime ever, and this was under a year ago. I refused to draw at school when I was like a kid, so yeah, I have 2 drawings in Ibis Paint before this, and I'll show you them. I've actually already redrawn one of them, so I added on the details that could help me draw her, know what I'm doing a bit better. So you can see I've got Elf. She seems quite relaxed, and the colour one wasn't helpful. I actually ended up ignoring the relaxed one because I couldn't think of any relaxed looking poses that I wanted to draw. So I just began to plan out her pose and everything, and I'm so bad at posing, to the point where just the base sketch took me 1 hour and 40 minutes. The goal was to have something like in her hand, like a magical elf power, but I ended up not liking the way it looked in drawing, so I ditched it in favour of not doing that. I also gave her this cute sunflower crown because I wanted to show that she was one with nature, because elf. I also drew this butterfly thing that was supposed to not be outlined but just coloured, but I forgot about it after I did the line art, so it didn't make the cut. I was going to use this dress as a reference, but I didn't like it that much, so I just used the sleeves instead. I quite liked the simple dress with a bow and flowy sleeves. Originally I wanted to have like a cape and long dress, elf-like things, but I just kind of preferred a simpler thing instead. Then I finally started the line art, and this is possibly my favourite part of drawing. It's just like outlining what you've already done, it's so fun. Also, I love adding line thickness. It's not actually that fun to do, I just love how it looks, so doing it just makes me happy because I can watch it just get better. You also may have noticed the hand on her stomach. Yeah. In the line sketch, I don't know what I was doing with it, it was just all weird, and I ended up just flattening it on her stomach instead. I just couldn't do it. I also ended up hating the hair, and instead of keeping it like the long flow hair like in my reference picture from my old art, I just kind of snipped it off, and because the ponytail ended up being longer than her hair, I also had to get rid of that. I gave her a few accessories like little bracelets, a toe ring, I don't know. I've never seen anyone actually wear them. But I also live in the UK, so you need proper shoes. Though it's getting hot now, so maybe one day. I also drew on the light source, which didn't actually help that much, because the places far away that would be darker because they're in the shade were already going to be outlined, because I outline like the proper outside with like a thicker line anyway, and there was not really that many smaller lines that needed to be thickened because they were away from the light. So, I began to colour, and I used the same colour from the hair from the original picture. And I used almost the same skin colour, but I thought it was a little bit too ashy, so I added like a slight bit of saturation to make her look a bit more alive, like there was actually blood pumping through her. I made the dress mostly yellow despite the pink she's wearing in the picture, because I didn't like the original colours, like they were just a bit too similar and I didn't like it. Also, yellow's the corresponding colour of purple, so it works, it's good. Originally I tried to make the sleeves and the white bit pink, but I didn't like it, I don't know. It just made me think, ew, when I looked at it. I don't think you can actually see it in the drawing because I must have pressed like the backwards thing and it didn't show up, so that's all fun. But yeah, so they ended up going with white instead. You may have noticed like when I started shading that I definitely prefer cell shading. I did like a little bit of blurring where I thought the creases and shadow would be like a little bit less obvious, like closer to the top of the skirt. Also, all of her face and the hair was blurred, but that was more tactical. Yes, tactical. I know what I'm doing, I promise. I also did the same non-blurred thing for the highlighting. I don't know why, I just like it, you know? Like, I think the blurred in other people's pictures looks good, but I just can't manipulate the blurring tool to work for me. Also, I always have like this, just a soft spot for cell shading. It just brings me so much joy. Sure, blurred might look more realistic or whatever, but it will always hold a special place in my heart. May I add, throughout this entire video, I have gone so off script, including this. I don't know, I think I feel a bit more casual in this video because I'm not instructing you to do anything, which has led to me just kind of talking and just rambling on a bit. I love the eyes, by the way. It's a bit like self-complimenty, but like, I like them so much. I bet in another year I'll just look at them in disgust, like, what was I doing? Why was I doing it? But for now, I'm quite happy with them, because my old eyes used to be shaded in the same way, but they were drawn much worse, because they were much more cartoony. So the fact that I've found a middle ground between my old eyes and how they should look in anime, it just makes me so happy. Then I began to shade the hair. Honestly, I don't like shading the hair. It just takes so long, because I start doing like the little spiky bits, so it can kind of look like the layers of the hair, and it just takes too long. Come on, we need to make this quicker. We need to make it quicker and more fun. Luckily enough, highlighting the hair was very fun. I don't know, it's just something like, the way it looks like it gets like a little bit triangly, but it's not quite as clean, because it's the little lines rather than an actual triangle that's just been coloured in. I don't know, it just makes me happy. So happy. Personally, I have a feeling she could end up being one of my favourite OCs. She's just so cute. She also looks like she's never had a thought in her life. Like the way her eyes are like ever so slightly crossed, and the fact that she's just looking off into the distance or doing like a little bit of a kicky thing with her leg, and it's just so adventurous. Like she's never thought of anything in her life. She's the sort of person who just kind of chills and doesn't think about anything, which is kind of like me. I bet you were both ENFPs on the MBTI personality test. She's like my spirit animal, spirit elf. Like, look at her. Took me 6 hours and 40 minutes. So for just a small bit of self-promotion, you know, as you do, you can check out my Instagram because I post my artwork there. Or don't, I don't know. Okay, so thank you for watching and I'll see you in a tutorial or something like that.